I'm Susan Ferris, and I was president of the Historical Society for about 6 years back when the hike started, and I haven't been on the hike now in many years, and I decided it's such a beautiful day today. I came for it.
What year did you start the hike?
It was 23 years ago, I believe.
Wow. So what made you decide to start a hike up the hill or the mountain?
The board decided, the Historical Society, I don't remember how the idea came about, but we just got together. There was probably about 20 of us.
So what was the first hike like?
Well, it was a lot of fun because it was something we were doing with the whole community and opening it up for people, and now I see that it's grown into something that's really nice. I'm very impressed by what the Historical Society has done for the hike, and the Boy Scouts are tremendous.
Oh yeah.
Telling all of us where the poison oak is and keeping us safe when we're hiking.
So how many people were on the very first hike? Do you remember?
Probably the first one, 20 to 50.
20 to 50, and now what kind of number do we
Well,
have?
I was just hearing it's anywhere over 600 maybe.
600. Wow. So there's a lot of people up there.
Yeah. We have our little tickets, so I don't know. I'll count them.
Great. So good job for starting this hike. This has
Thank
been a
you.
great, I've
Thank
been
you.
talking to people, they say this is a great tradition.
Well, I thought one of the cool things about being a geologist, I thought rather than talk about rock types and everything, it would just be just a little bit of the understanding of the time that goes into making a mountain like that. So I thought I'll just run through what happens if you condense the Earth's history to a short time frame and you realize just how young all this stuff is. So if we figure that the universe is something like 14 billion years old, if you compress that to a year, just think of that as a year, then the Earth formed in about mid-August. So just the Earth was pretty late in the process. Now if we took the age of the Earth itself and we said, all right, well let's make that a year, then each day is about 12 million years, which means that the oldest rocks that we have in California show up about mid-October, so it's even late in that year. And those are the oldest ones that we have in California. They're billions of years old. Life comes out of the oceans about early November in the year, so pretty late. The rocks of El Toro here form about the middle of December, so middle of the last month of the year. The Sierra Nevada come up and begin to form a mountain range, and man begins to evolve on December 31st, about 4 p.m. So the last day of the year, and that's 3 million years ago. So, and then you start looking at the more recent things. Humans into North America, about the last 10 minutes of New Year's Eve there, and the last glaciers melt about 2 minutes before the tick of midnight. So most of the stuff we see is very late in the process. Now, these rocks, you've probably heard that they once were on the ocean floor, and that's true. Many of California's mountain ranges and rocks date from a time when the tectonic plates were moving towards one another. You've I'm sure heard of plate tectonics, where plates either move towards each other, away from each other, or have to move side to side along faults. So when they move towards each other, one of them has to get out of the way. So it gets stuffed under the other one. And that is where you get a string of volcanoes, you get the largest earthquakes, and then the rocks, as they move towards each other, get scraped off from the one going down and plastered onto the overriding plate. That's basically how you form the Sierra Nevada and the Coast Ranges, scraping off material that was headed down. Think of it like scraping the gooey part of the Oreo off as you eat the crunchy part. So those rocks were essentially from convergence. And in a setting like that, that's where you get the largest earthquakes, like the earthquake they just had in Chile is in that kind of setting. You've got a string of volcanoes, a deep ocean trench, the Aleutian Islands, and the shore off of Seattle, Washington, on up Vancouver. About 10 million years ago, California changed from that kind of setting where things were moving towards each other to things moving side to side, and You know, even if I wave my arms, it won't make sense. But about 10 million years ago, we shifted, and that's when the San Andreas Fault came into being. And that's called a strike-slip fault. That's a fault where things move side to side. And the San Andreas Fault, of course, is an example of those, that class of faults. 1906, the most famous earthquake, but there have been many, many on that. Now, those two plates continue to move relative to each other at about 5 centimeters a year. That's about 2 inches a year. So if you start to do the math, that adds up pretty quickly. So, you know, you think, well, 100 years, then you're going to have 500 centimeters a year. That's 5 meters, 15 feet. And as that stress builds up, it pops every now and then, and you get a large earthquake. San Andreas Fault is just one of many that releases that energy. Now, as that motion goes on, the fault is not perfectly straight. It bends back and forth, and so there continues to be some uplift of this mountain range here. So rocks that once were ocean floor rocks that were scraped off against the edge of the continent continue to be pushed up, and then they're eroded down into the valleys like the one we're standing in. Now this is pretty fast, geologically speaking. So what we have is things going up on either side of the valley, being eroded into the valley, and then some of those rocks again get recycled and lifted up again and eroded, recycled. So we're lucky here as geologists to have lots of really young, really weak rocks. So we have lots of landslides, lots of slope problems when it's wet, and it keeps life interesting. So the rocks that you're going to see up here, once were ocean floor rocks. They were a form of lava, essentially, not a volcano. And then on that ocean floor, you can imagine once you get out away from shore, there's not much sediment coming from the rivers. It's clear, still water. So much of what settles out on the bottom of the ocean floor has these tiny, tiny critters, and millions of them pile up and form this kind of rock called chert. It's often reddish, very fine grained, and a lot of times you'll see layers about an inch or so thick, just one after another stacked up, and it folds really easily as a geologic material. So we've got chert, and we have something called greenstone. That's the metamorphosed version of the ocean floor lavas, and that's what you're going to see today. One of the things you'll see when you get up to the top is it's just how active this area is. The valley floor, parts of it are going up, parts of it are going down, and the streams can't keep pace. So as you look across, you'll see where Coyote Creek comes out of the range to the east, and it's building a big fan out onto the valley of sediment that's washed out. It flows to San Francisco Bay. But the creeks on this side of the valley, even in the same valley, Upper Yagas Creek heads down and then flows out the Pajaro Gap in the Monterey Bay. So things are just being warped and turned around, and the creeks can't keep pace. There's even a creek up further north in the valley that hasn't figured out a way to join up with the Coyote Creek. It's so young. All right, did I confuse everybody? And everybody, we're all on the same page. We're going to tell Peter it's a volcano, right? Any questions? Should we walk? All right. Thank you.
My name is Janie Knopf, and I am with the Historical Society. We are having a hike up El Toro. People have just left. They've had their little talk about how the mountain is made, and it is not a volcano. And we have our t-shirts for
Beautiful.
sale.
And what's on the t-shirt?
It says, I hiked El Toro.
Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Okay. Hello. What's your name?
Colin.
Carl? What troop are you with?
799.
799?
Yeah.
What you doing here today?
We're helping with the El Toro climb.
El Toro? Anybody fall yet?
No. One kid.
One? Hey. There, Carl. Okay. Going up the hill here. Thanks for putting these steps up. Whoa. Okay. Well, it's real steep up here.
Don't worry, she's up here. Is she up here? You see the blonde?
You get up here.
How long did it take us? What time is it?
2 hours?
About 5 hours?
5 hours. You must have got up at like at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, we did. No, it was phenomenal. It was beautiful. And come on, Jules, share away. She's my student. She can tell you more.
Oh yeah?
It was cool.
It was cool? Is it your first time up here?
Yeah.
What was your feeling when you got to the top?
Hot.
Hot? You're hot? What about the view? Yeah? Can you see your house? Oh.
No.
What school are you from?
Stratford School.
Where's that?
That's off of Bernal, off Santa Teresa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about 30 minutes, 20 minutes from here.
So,
Yeah. Exciting. It was
Yeah.
exciting. I have to say, she's a trooper. She did it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
give you guys a high five.
High five.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Oh, what's
you.
your name?
I'm Mrs. Martinez.
Martinez?
My name is Julia.
Julia? So, good job.
Thank you.
Who are you and where are you from?
This is Colette, and I'm Stuart, and we're from here now, Morgan Hill. We
Ah.
just moved here about 3 weeks ago.
What do you think of this hike?
This is a gorgeous hike.
Beautiful.
Very good. Very steep. Most steep than I thought it was going to be.
Thanks for the ropes.
Yeah. Yeah, Boy Scouts are awesome. It's nice to just move here and find a cool community event like this.
Where everyone comes out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
cute. It's nice.
Yeah, well, welcome to the town of Morgan Hill.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy many years here.
Thank you.
Who are you?
The Miller family
The Miller?
from Morgan Hill.
And what brought you up here today?
We've been up a number of times since we moved here 15 years ago. It's just a beautiful opportunity to see the city from up here and wonderful spring day.
And
Morgan Hill tradition.
and you guys, the boys here. So what's your names?
Ty.
Ty? And
Good.
Garrett? So what do you think about the hike?
It was pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, need it this time of day.
It's better to do it early than the 10 o'clock one?
Yeah, there's less people, so it makes it better.
Great. So thanks a lot. What's your name?
My name is Karen Knoll.
And what brought you up here, Karen?
Beautiful day and decided to come back up and climb El Toro. Did it for the first time last year.
Ah, so your second time. What was it like this time?
Easier.
Easier?
Yeah, there were fewer people. It seemed like it went faster, but just a gorgeous climb.
Yeah. So what's the best thing about being up here?
Being able to see these views. It's amazing. And it's so early in the morning. I'm not usually up this early on a Saturday.
So, good job, Karen. So, what's your folks' names?
I'm Isaac Alvarez and
Santa Alvarez.
Santa. And what brought you up here today? You wanted to see what the city was like up here?
To do exercise.
To do it?
Yes.
Is this your first?
No, this is our third year.
Third year. So, and was it easier? Was it harder?
it was easier.
Is it easier? Because you're an old hand now, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So what's the best part of being up here?
The view.
The view? Okay, point out something. What,
All of it, how it fits.
it fits?
I don't know how to explain it.
So, it just looks really cool all together. Great. Who are you and why'd you come up here?
William Lehman, I'm idiot. For the challenge.
For the challenge, huh?
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Your first time up here?
First time up here.
Mm.
Beautiful up here.
How long have you lived in Morgan Hill, Bill?
Since 1988.
88, and this is the first time?
Yes.
Wow, you just been so busy, you never
I don't
had
know.
the time? So,
Just wasn't part of my curriculum.
so describe the view.
Oh, it's awesome. Really awesome up here. It's cooler up here than it was down at the bottom.
Mm.
But a lot more people than that are going to be here.
Okay, this is my niece. This is her first time on El Toro.
Oh, what's your name?
Ashlyn.
Ashlyn, and yours?
I'm Wes.
Hi, Wes.
And the last time I climbed this was in 1966.
Wow.
So it was my dream to do it again because I just suffered a heart attack in September and I wanted to be able to do this. So,
Oh, wow, this is an incredible story.
yeah, so it's a real thrill for me.
So,
And my family, who's been in Morgan Hill 100 years, used to climb this. This was a regular trek for them on weekends. Take picnics up here, and they would always climb Murphy's Peak.
what's the last name?
And Moniz,
Moniz?
yes.
So the Moniz family's been here for 100 years?
Yeah, 1893 they came to Morgan Hill from Hawaii, Portuguese.
Wow.
They still live in the family home.
Where's that?
It's just down the foot, just below the one finger that goes out toward Hale Avenue in Yagas. So the house is just at the end of the last hill.
Wow. So this is kind of a real personal achievement for you.
It is.
the-
It really is. I've been hiking every day, 3 miles every day, and I do exercising so that this was a real goal for me to do this.
Wow, it's a beautiful story. So how you feel right now?
I feel good. A little winded in a couple of spots, but not bad.
Great.
Not bad. No, it was wonderful. Thrilled.
Testimony to your spirit to get back.
Thank
What do you think of your uncle?
It's good. I'm glad that he can do this.
Yeah.
We're going to try it next year again and then
Yeah.
bring her brother
Wow.
next year.
So who is more tired, you or
I don't know.
We were both. I mean, she runs
Yeah.
cross country and it was still bothering her legs.
Yeah.
Really?
It's challenging.
Wow. But
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think of the view up here?
It's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is your first time up here, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did the earlier hike.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah, the 10 o'clock one gets really crowded up
I
here.
bet it does.
But anyway, great job.
Thank you
very much.
Novices.
Okay. Okay, who are you and what brought you up here?
Let's see, our feet brought us up here.
Ah.
And we're residents of Morgan Hill. I'm Larry.
I'm Judy.
Hi, Judy. Hi, Larry.
Hi.
So how long have you lived in Morgan Hill?
35 years.
35. Is this your first time up here?
Yes.
Wow.
My children have climbed the hill before, but I never have.
We waited until we thought it was an appropriate time, until we got old enough.
So you felt like you were, mature enough to do it, come
That's
up here,
right.
huh? So.
We didn't want to come out of the gate too fast. So.
So what was it like climbing up here? Was it exciting?
It was
challenge?
It was very challenging. Yeah.
It was steep and a little slippery.
And then special thanks to the Boy Scout Troop of 799 for digging those steps the last 300 yards. That was really makes all the difference.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it.
Really?
No.
Actually, I'm a hiker up in Henrico a lot, and this is a really steep hike. So in terms of the spirit of the town, what would you say about this in terms of what it does for Morgan Hill?
Depressing.
Depressing?
Like a softball prize. No, it's a wonderful community event. You meet at the library with the bagels, was very nice, and get a little lecture before you go, and before you know it, you're on your way with a lot of other people that are very, very good spirits.
Oh, okay. Final question: why did they call it El Toro?
Because it's a bull of a rock up, right?
That's the best answer I've ever heard. Good job, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, who are you and what brought you up here today?
My name's Tyler. I came up here to hike with the family.
Ah, and your name?
Steven, and I'm same thing as him.
And Grandma.
I'm Donna, and I've always wanted to climb this mountain, and I've finally done it.
Congratulations. So what was it like for you guys coming up here?
Difficult.
Difficult? Why was that?
Because you had to hold on to the rope, and you kept on slipping and all that.
And
it was like a really steep hill coming up.
Ah. So the escalator wasn't working, I guess.
I think that was the easiest part for me, was the steps and the escalator.
The step. And for you?
The rope was a godsend. Thank goodness for the rope.
So aren't those Boy Scouts great?
They are. They're terrific. I'm going to thank them all on my way down.
So how would you describe the view, Stephen?
It was good because you could see the whole valley, and I like the valley very much.
Can you see your house?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's like right across from the library.
Wow. And you, Tyler?
I don't live up here normally, but this is my cousin's house, and yeah, I like the view a lot.
Wow. And describe the view.
Oh, I loved it. You could see Anderson and Chesborough, and you can see all the way to San Jose, Mount Hamilton.
Wow.
Everything.
Great. So you're going to come back up here next year?
Probably. I'd like to. I'd like to.
It's on camera now. See you next year.
Thank you.
I got a rock.
You got a rock? What kind of rock is that?
I don't know.
It's a souvenir, huh?
Yeah.
You better not let them see you take it back down, because if everybody takes rocks down, there won't be any mountain left.
I wonder if that's the church he was talking about. His head was kind of red.
So, Noah, what's your name?
Mason.
Mason?
Yeah.
What you doing up there in the tree, Mason?
Just
Hanging
hanging out.
out? So you enjoyed the hike?
Yes.
Was it fun?
Yes.
Was it a challenge?
Yes.
Yes? What was the hardest part? The rope part? It's pretty steep, huh? Okay, now is this your brother?
Yeah.
Hey brother, what's your name?
Jake.
Jake? Hi Jake. So have you been up here before? Is this first time? Never? Do you have fun? So, is it hard? Yeah. So you look forward to getting down? That's the hard part. Good job, Jake. Just kind of point things out, what might be interesting.
All right, you see the peak with the antenna farm over there? That's Loma Prieta, and that's the site of the '89 earthquake. Just on the other side, inside of Nicene Mark State Park, is the site of the epicenter, and you can actually go to the site of the epicenter. The displacement was 3.5 meters.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so the '89 earthquake was pretty substantial. 3.5 meters is a big switch.
Big.
And if you follow the ridgeline north, hidden by this tree over here is looks like a rectangular house. That was actually used to hold a huge dish for communications with the South Pacific during World War II.
Cool.
And absolutely beautiful views from up at the top of Umanum. And that's what the name of the peak that it's on. Umanum is hummingbird in Ohlone Wilderness Indian language. And then there's a peak. You see the antenna right up there?
Yeah.
All right. So what they did is they relayed that up to that peak over there. That's Coyote Peak, and that's in Santa Teresa Park. And from Santa Teresa Park at the top of Coyote Peak, which is 1,155 feet tall, you can look north and you can see all of the military bases, clear line of sight.
So they got the signal.
That's how they got the signal up there.
Cool.
Right? And that's 92.3. Used to be KSJO being broadcasted over there. That's why you had that.
Station I listen to sometimes.
I know. A moment of silence. It's gone now.
What's this valley down here?
Down over in this one.
10 calories.
Is that Paradise?
That's Paradise Valley. And Oak Glen comes right through over here, and it goes right past the reservoir over this way. On the other, that's Chesborough. Just on the other side of that ridge line is Uvis, and then you follow this thing up that particular drainage, and you get over to Calero, rather.
Calero.
Yeah. And here's a really interesting piece. Morgan Hill is the watershed divide between the San Francisco Bay and the Monterey Bay. Check out the maps, and you'll see the two rivers that each emanate from out of Morgan Hill, and they go in two different directions. So
wow.
we're kind of the high spot.
The continental divide
the continental divide of the valley.
Okay. You two people, I don't know your names. Can you?
I'm Bobby.
Bobby?
And Robert.
Hey, Robert.
So Bob and Bob.
Bob and Bob. What are you doing, the double Bobs? What are you doing up here today?
We got up this morning and said, hey, why don't we hike up that hill that's in our backyard?
Yeah. This is our first
our
first year in Morgan Hill. We moved here in November.
Oh, where from?
New York.
Oh, New York.
Yeah.
New York City?
Yeah, just outside.
Oh,
just outside, yeah.
Morgan Hill's just like New York City.
Very
isn't it?
similar, very similar. We need a few more skyscrapers, but otherwise.
Pretty close.
So how do you like Morgan Hill?
We love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun. It's good. We have big city access, but small town
we love
sort of feel. So
yeah.
it's good.
So, So what do you think of the view here? Up the...
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, and I think I appreciate it more because I worked so hard to get up here. But it's really fantastic.
Okay, great double bobs.
Thank you.
You gotta turn around and say it.
Hey, Isaac. Hi, Isaac. El Toro.
Can you tell him what El Toro means?
Tell me, what does El Toro mean?
It's the bull.
The bull. You're the first one to get it. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Isaac, look up at me. Say, what does it mean?
The bull.
The bull. That's right. Good job. Guys' names? Jesse, and what was the other one? Haley, Jesse and Haley. And is this your first time up here? Yeah? Were you having fun?
Yes.
What'd you find here? What's this little thing? What kind of flower is that?
Sunflower.
Sunflower. Let's see that. Wow. That is beautiful. Look at that. A lot of color there. Okay. So you guys from Morgan Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, where's your school?
Jackson.
Jackson? So,
After school care. No, she is Children's Garden.
Children's Garden. Ah. Perfect. Thanks a lot.
She's 3 and I'm 5.
You're 5 and she's 3, huh? Wow.
My teeth are wiggly.
Sorry?
My teeth are wiggly.
Your teeth are wiggly?
Yes.
So, that's good. That means they're coming out.
Hey Marcus. Marcus. I think the person you handed the tickets off to doesn't know what to do with your ticket. Want an orange? What? Want an orange? Orange? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, once I finish my testing,
Who's that? Oh, God. There's some parts people don't know, but...
Brittany.
Brittany? Genevieve?
Yeah.
So, what was it like staying up here last night?
Cold.
Cold?
Yeah. Oh, can't talk.
Okay, Brittany, why'd you come up here and why'd you stay up here last night?
It was for Venture Crew and
Which Venture Crew?
$7.99.
$7.99?
Yes.
And was there a reason you stayed up here?
The ropes.
The
ropes.
ropes.
We put the ropes up. That's right.
So the mountain goats wouldn't eat the ropes, I assume, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So what was it like? Was it quiet up here? What was it? I mean, you saw the stars? Describe what it was like.
It was quiet. We saw the stars and the view of Morgan Hill.
What was it like in terms of the view of Morgan Hill at night?
It was pretty good. We saw all the lights and it looks really pretty.
Saw the
site was
planes
good.
landing down at San Jose.
Yeah.
So,
The airport.
can you hear people from up here? Is it too far away?
Yeah, it's a bit far away.
You can hear the traffic. That's all I hear. So, great job. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
What's your guys' names?
My name's Evan.
And your names?
Jeremy.
How old are you?
I'm 10. I'm 11.
And okay. And what troop are you with?
I'm in 799.
799.
799.
799. So, and what did you guys do here today?
We helped people climb up the El Toro Mountain.
Okay. So how do you help them?
We set up ropes and a tripod at the top, and we dug some steps in the mountains so they could climb it.
So did people seem like they were having fun?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was there a traffic jam coming down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the time.
So is this the first time up here doing this?
Yes. Yes, it
So
is.
is this for a merit badge or anything? Or
This kind of counts. It's a service project. Yeah, it gives you like service hours. Yeah, it's a service project for like the community.
well, it's a good job you did. Saved people's lives, so they don't fall down and break their necks.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Good job, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
I think that's hard. Yeah.
Hey, Roger.
My mother was here.
Hey, Marty.
I'm Granny. I took after
You're signing autographs here?
Yeah, we're signing autographs.
I wanted to have a different name than Grandma.
My certificate.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Get Susan's certificate there.
you gotta sign mine for the camera.
Well, let's see.
They had a
Marty, did you get to the top?
I made it to the top.
And then they had the twins. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got Isaac first.
Yeah.
So we're all done.
All done. I know. Isn't it amazing how it just takes care of that?
Well, congratulations, Marty.
Except that
What
they
a
had
beautiful
one more.
day, huh?
I just love how the community shows up and really participates in this event. It's a wonderful thing.
Great.